Welcome again to the Forward United podcast. My name is James Ellers. Today we are joined by Jordan Reyes. Jordan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name's Jordan. I'm from Michigan. Right now, I'm not currently in work or school because I'm getting in fitness to join the Navy. I plan on being a nuke for the Navy, so like going to be a technician for it. I started with joining the Yin Gang in I think it was December, and I followed really adamantly. I was in Yang Week and Yang Month, so I went to Iowa for the whole month, and I went to New Hampshire. Was there for that, and now I'm with some other Yang Gang, and we're working on some projects on Scott Santon's Discord server. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So I'm curious, what drew you to Andrew Yang and the Yin Gang? Like, what connected with you that brought you in? So, because if you did all that, you're very dedicated. So I'm curious, what brought you in?
There were so many things. One of them that got his name, I didn't know who he was until I think I saw Elon Musk's tweet. He said when people were asking who he was voting for, who he was backing, he said Yang, and I looked him up because I know my views are pretty independent too, and so I wanted to know why him, because I hadn't heard of him. And then I realized who Yang was. I did some more research on him. I watched the Joe Rogan interview, like a lot of people suggested, and I was really blown away. It was like I was just watching it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I heard his book, and I loved it. I loved how rational he was and how data driven he was. He wasn't about party politics. He just wanted to solve problems, and I really did like that he talked about things like AI, because I think those should be regulated.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just surprising after you hear someone like Andrew Yang talking about these things that there aren't more politicians talking about these things, because it's pretty urgent. So before you discovered Andrew Yang, were you politically engaged, or tell me about, how you viewed politics before Andrew Yang?
Before, I was sort of into local stuff. Not really. I wasn't really into it. I guess I would vote. I would make sure to vote every election because I felt that it mattered. If I was passionate about a certain someone, I would probably be willing to canvass for them if I had the time, if I really believed in them. But before Andrew, it was another lesser of two evils types of races going around me, like this person against this person. It wasn't really anything to be too passionate over. So I was engaged, but I wasn't as engaged as I am now, where I'm actually mailing things and asking for Congress people, sending them things to represent us and hoping they endorse an idea like UBI.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Scott Santon's and the projects you and the Discord server are working on?
Right now, there are a lot of them are just certain things that they want to create projects that I think before we were kind of waiting for Andrew's what he was going to do. A lot of us were a little on. Some of us were on hold or something. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say exactly what they're doing, but
That's fair.
A lot of them just want to create just they want a forward way of basically kind of how the new pack works, is they really just want to promote forwardness and UBI to the best that they can, and it's available for anyone to join.
That's awesome. Okay. We will have to look into that a little more. So a question I like to ask people is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the treatment of individuals in our society today?
I'd say a 5, because it's so easy statistically to look at the bad and to remember all the bad things you've experienced rather than the good. So if you experience someone smiling at you or someone being polite with you, you're less likely to remember it than someone being rude to you. So I didn't want to give it a 3, even though sometimes I feel like it's a 3, but I'd say a 5 is fair, because I think we behind the screen and a lot of how things can be politicized, we know so much about a person before we even get to meet them, so we have our own ideas drawn into our heads before we have the chance to talk to them. I think that's kind of not fair. I want to a lot of people, even people I know who I like in real life, I have to sometimes unfollow them or avoid their social medias because I know that they're a good person, but but it's so hard to like talk over the computer and know what people are trying to say, or if they're saying it in a snarky way, or it's so difficult with all of these. It's hard knowing every passing thought in someone's head that I didn't know before social media.
Yeah, it's true. The mute button on social media comes in handy a lot. Not and you said it very well, like not because you dislike them or anything, but a lot of the things that people are putting on social media can negatively affect our own mindset, I feel like. So I've done the same thing. Like it's not like I dislike them. It's just the messages they are putting out there just don't go with the direction that I'm trying to go. So I think social media is very tricky, and it largely does not help mental health, to be honest. Which I think that's awesome that you're working with the Discord server with Scott Sentence, and you're working with like-minded people towards a common goal. Things like that definitely help. But in terms of like things like Facebook, it
hurts. I don't want to know.
I'm not a fan. So what do you think are some ways that we can improve this rating from a 5 and get that a little higher?
I think like when I don't travel, I never traveled much, and I wasn't too, I was interested in travel, but I thought it would be something I would do later in life. So when I went to Iowa and New Hampshire, when I spent all that time, I didn't spend a lot of time online because I was, like canvassing, and I didn't have time. So when I would canvass, it was like, I just enjoyed talking to people and understanding, how someone is when you meet them at the door. I met a lot of people whose ideas I did agree with and whose ideas I didn't agree with. But one of the things that I had noticed is that people they're all very similar in their humanness. They all just want to live their life quiet. It can be hard when you're on like social media and you see everybody and you see it's like all very raged up, and you just go to someone's house, the people who are actually voting, and they're just like, what?
Yeah, that makes sense. So, that's awesome. And go ahead.
I just think I think it can be improved by us being more empathetic by literally just imagining and visiting those people. I think certain things I see on the news, like when other people, groups of people don't understand each other, I think that leads to a lot of conflict. So I've been lucky because I grew up, I'm not going to say that my area is the most like super diverse, but like I grew up knowing every type of person and knowing that they're not, going to harm me because we have ideological differences. I grew up with like every religion I can think of near me, and I've interacted with them all, and they're all pretty chill. So I don't understand, like when I see other people and they're like concerned about, someone who might be like a outsider or what their intentions are. I'm like, they live near us. They're not bothering me. So it's really good to get to know people outside of your bubble, and to get out of your bubble too.
Yes, and that's I completely agree that we need to not spend as much time online, because the issue with some of the social media, like we're talking about it, and like the internet's a great tool, but at the same time, you have to understand that all these social media companies and all these news organizations are putting things out there that will get them more clicks. So if you look at news, for example, the news companies, the people that do the news aren't going to put things out there that aren't going to get them more clicks, which would be, positive stories, things that aren't true, aren't too crazy. So they're going to put the craziest things out there and frame them in a way that they get more clicks. And that's kind of the world we live in right now. So I've been trying to do the same thing. It's crazy that you go out and you talk to people and you meet with people. And I was doing this a lot with my campaign, and we all get along on the ground floor. It's just online and in these news stories and everything where they act like, we don't get along, which is crazy. So yes, that's, I think, moving forward. Again, the internet's a great tool, but moving forward, we need to get out and talk to more people in real life. And I think that's really how we are going to grow the message of, universal basic income, all these other policies, get Andrew Yang out there more, because it resonates with people. If you're face to face with someone talking about this, you could almost just see their eyes light up like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think we've we've done really well online, and now we need to go into our next evolution. So I agree. What is something that you would consider a major problem in our society?
I think trust, maybe lack of what's the word? How concrete something is. I one of the things that concerns me is like when I see how like people react to CDC or the government when they say, you know, we should stay inside. A lot of people will go, well, why are we staying inside? This is just, and then they'll pull up their own numbers, like, oh, this isn't going to kill a lot of people, or just so many like different things where if you can't have trust in a system that no one would follow it. I'm not saying that we should like blindly trust, you know, anyone. I'm just saying that it makes me sad how everyone is always trying to see like a hidden agenda. And to be fair, they've been like they can't really. I feel like a lot of people feel like they can't trust anyone anymore, so they have to rely on their own bubble for information. And I just want it to be I feel like that's why I would be so happy with someone like Andrew in charge, because he's a really rational person, doesn't have an agenda. So he would just give us like something clear and concrete, like, you know, don't over panic, don't under panic, you know, whatever.
Yeah, Andrew is very, very down to earth. And on the other side, I mean, you look at someone like Donald Trump that just puts anything and everything out there just to get, again, it goes back to just to get attention. Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. And I think, like you said, that does create a lot of distrust in addition to polarization that is just completely unnecessary. And it's all come to, you know, where we are now, where there are legitimate threats and a lot of people are still looking at it politically, including our government, unfortunately. And I wish Andrew was still in the race, because for him to be in the race with what's going on right now would be very interesting, because universal basic income's getting a lot more attention now that it wouldn't have gotten. And
Love that.
yeah, it's awesome. And if he didn't run and if he didn't do what he did, it wouldn't even be part of the conversation. So I feel like, again, for universal basic income, for the other policies, and like you're saying, just for people to start to trust the systems and governments and things we build, we need him and other leaders like him in office and working towards, you know, fixing these things. So I like the direction we're going, and it's kind of sad that it's taking this kind of catastrophe to get us there, but it's just going to speed up automation too. That's the thing other people aren't talking about too much. Like a restaurant that can automate a lot of things, you know, there are like I was watching videos of robots making food, and they're saying, hey, all these restaurants are bringing these robots in because they can't transmit this disease. And a lot of other industries are doing the same thing. So when this is all said and done, we are going to be a lot closer to what Andrew Yang was talking about than most people understand. So is there anything, so you're working on joining the Navy, which is awesome. You are working on a lot of things with Scott Santins in the Discord.
And some of the campaigns I've offered, you know, like volunteer, like text bank or phone bank for them. Some of the ones who are running for Congress for UBI, some of the elections are later. So there are people who are running. I think Blair is in Tennessee and some others. Those ones, promoting them, hoping that we can get some people in the House to help co-sponsor all these bills.
Yes, it's very important. So I like to encourage anyone that has an interest in running to please research, you know, how to run and if it's feasible in the area, and to run, because it's going to take multiple waves. 2020 is just the first wave. Right. Andrew was talking about, hey, we have to bring the wave crashing down on Washington, D.C. And in reality, we are creating multiple waves. So I feel like 2020 is the first wave. Congress is every 2 years. So it's almost to the point where when one election season is over, the next one's beginning a few months later. So we just need this constant wave of people. So thank you for the work you're doing if you're helping volunteer and get those people out there, because coming from I just finished a congressional campaign, and it is it's grueling if you're going up against these people that are raising, for my example, I was going against a few people that raise $500,000 each.
Oh, yeah.
So, and if you look at the numbers for people for the last election cycle, the people that won their congressional race raised an average of $1.5 million each. And this is one big reason why we need money out of politics, because it's getting to the point where the people with the money just automatically win. So that's why I appreciate what you're doing and what other people are doing, where we need to build out systems so that we can compete, because they're raising money, but they're not doing anything very smart. It's all very wasteful.
That's why I represent us and stuff like that, where they want to, implement, kind of like how Andrew Yang had the democracy dollars. They're all for that too, and ranked choice voting. I think that would just make everything easier, because with ranked choice voting, nobody would be able to tell you, oh, you're wasting your vote, because you'd always have a say in the vote, because it's a list,
Yeah, ranked choice voting is awesome. Like, if we had democracy dollars and ranked choice voting, just those two policies would turn the political world upside down. Like, coming from a place where I've been in an election, and if every person, for democracy dollars, for example, if every person had $100 a year that they could donate to whoever they wanted, that would make the biggest difference getting normal people to run for office, because unfortunately it is built out so that you have to either be the establishment or have a lot of money to be able to win these offices. So that's something that we are actively working on, changing that trend for sure. So is there anything else that you're building or want to build, anything that you want to, our audience can help you out with?
Right now, the things I'm building that I want to build in the future are sort of in the future things after like the Navy or during the Navy. And that'll probably just come with a lot of time and not really too related to like UBI, just kind of more of Andrew's forward ideas. And so, yeah, I just look forward to a future where like UBI can happen, because I remember when I was in Iowa for Young Month, there's a lot of people with great ideas, and they all want to like work, and it's not, but they're all just doing jobs they hate that really could be automated away. And they have all these great ideas, and they could be doing them if they had, like a UBI. It's not, so that's why I think I really support. I heard all these ideas and I knew they could happen. It's a shame.
No, I completely agree. Like, people are spending, because it's just the way our system's built, that we have to spend so many hours at a job that we aren't usually passionate about, and by the time you're done with that job, you go home, take care of stuff, and there's just not time to focus on other things. So something like UBI would really open up. I mean, I think it would just move us forward as a civilization.
Yes, I was just at a factory job, and I remember I was doing the movements. I was stickering like boxes and everything I was doing. I remember telling my coworkers, this is all repetitive. This could all be automated. And they were kind of looking at me like, yeah, I guess it could. And I remember like we were doing Sharpie on a box, and I was like, a machine could do this if we made it do this. I just remember thinking, all of us are here. We could be doing other things. I mean, what we were doing was still important, because the boxes were for like car parts and important to the economy, but we didn't have to be there. We could have been doing other things, and it was just a shame to see all that potential on something that was not required. Everything was repetitive. I didn't do more than 5 different tasks a day.
Yeah, and it will be automated at some point, and
Yeah.
we are completely fine with automation. I mean, automation is a good thing as long as we make the system work for everyone. And I think we're at the point in society where we are producing more, we are creating more with less input from humans. Like we can do all these things, but we just need to make it so that people can actually survive. We can actually thrive. Because right now it's going the wrong way. And I think what's going on right now will bring a lot of light to the need of a UBI. Again, it's unfortunate that it's accelerating this way, but I think it will get us to the point we need to get faster, just because there's so much wasted man hours on repetitive things that people aren't passionate about, and then that contributes to poor mental health, high suicide rates, and things like that. So that's definitely something we need to turn around very, very quickly. Jordan, how can our audience follow and support you?
I'm really on social media casually right now, so there's nothing really right now that I'm doing other than promoting like other guys like you, basically to support. I would say support the things that I'm supporting as well, like Blair for Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of other people. There's a lot of people on UBI for Congress. She's just the one that stuck out to my mind right now. I think is Heidi in Oregon. She's still running.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot, which is awesome. My race was a lot earlier than others, so I'm really excited that there are so many people still running on UBI, and people continue to announce. It seems like daily that are running on it, and hopefully we can get more people that are in Congress and in the Senate to support UBI, and I feel like it's going that way right now, which is awesome.
Yeah, a project I'm excited about, in a post-UBI world, and one where after I'm established in the Navy, because I'm a young adult, I'm only 19,
Really
but
awesome.
I'm still really excited about the world we're heading into if it's done right. One of the things I saw is all of the bloating in our healthcare system. There's so much, I think how Andrew pointed out, inefficiency, and there's a lot of, I would really like to make a channel that's dedicated to sharing, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, to people. A lot of people really just, if once they know what they're experiencing and how to effectively handle it, without having to buy a book, because a lot of people, there's not a lot of people that can just go out and buy kind of behavioral therapy books, especially if they're not, employed for whatever reason, because there's like a correlation between unemployment and mental health. If those people could just get help for free on a YouTube channel, that's one thing I would like to do in the future. That's why I'm interested in studying psychology in the future. But that would be in a post-UBI world, and I think, with UBI, a lot more projects like this could happen.
Yes, that would be huge, and I think you should start that as soon as possible. Honestly, even if you only are able to do one video a week, every week or two, because over time you'll just be able to build and build and build, and that is definitely something that is needed. So that's an awesome idea. So I would let me know if and when you start that, and I will shout it out to everybody else so we can get some more support behind that. So that yeah, of course, that's awesome. Your Twitter, how can people find you on Twitter if they want to follow you?
I think my Twitter is Jordan Loves You, with
Okay.
the loves and you is zeros. And that's it.
I'll find it. I'll link it in the notes. So just because I know people when they listen to a lot of these, they want to make sure that they know how to follow our guests. So next part is the lightning round. Are you ready for the lightning round?
Oh, sure.
Pretty simple questions, nothing crazy. So we'll just roll through them and then go from there. Sound good?
Yes.
All right. What's your favorite ice cream?
Right now, okay, so I'm vegan, so I have to have whatever Ben and Jerry vegan options are. It's usually the ones that are it's just it has Oreo, but they're not Oreos, and peanut butter. Yeah, so it's something Ben and Jerry's.
I have to try that. I didn't know they had vegan ice cream.
They do. It's
That's
great.
awesome.
I live off of it.
Name someone you would consider a role model.
Someone I would consider a role model. I think the lady who wrote The Handmaid's Tale. I forgot her name. Basically, and then there was another one, the Supreme Court Justice Ruth. I saw it. Basically, these women that are trailblazers. I really like those women.
Yeah, Margaret Atwood.
Yeah, Margaret Atwood, because they kind of, I think it's when people like that, when they speak out about something, or they want to make a statement, it's hard because they'll face a lot of criticism, but they kind of walk so that the rest of us can run.
Awesome. And then the Supreme Court, Ruth Ginsburg, is that
Yeah,
the other one?
yeah, I believe that's her because she was I believe first, she's like the second, and it normalizes the idea of women taking that position.
Right. Absolutely. Would you rather have more time or more money?
Time, because even like the brightest people only have limited amounts of time. Me and whoever genius you can think of still only get 24 hours in a day. So it's like, it looks like for them, the most valuable thing that they have at that point is time. Yeah.
Awesome. What is a book you would recommend and why?
Book I would recommend. I think, not to be cliche, but The World of Normal People is my favorite book now.
It's awesome. I mean, when I read it, I was like, wow, it has everything he talks about in his campaign and way more, which is awesome. It's sitting right behind me. Bam. Right there. Oops,
Nice.
no. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. If you haven't read The War on Normal People, even if like you're super yang gang and you think that you've heard everything there is to be heard about it, read it because there is a lot more in there. It's an awesome book. And who would you nominate to come on the podcast?
Heidi, Vetch and then Heidi from Oregon.
Yeah, I think I might be doing a recording for Vets for Yang later today. I have to check with her. But yes, I need to talk to Heidi Briones in Oregon, because we've spoken a lot through Twitter and just trying to when she was first deciding to run, just to get everything going. So I need to check in with her. So thank you for those recommendations. Anything else you want to tell our audience before we leave?
I think Andrew Yang's humanity first values, really, I think that there's always a good time to use them, especially as I know a lot of people are frustrated with the nominees and everything. That there's also a House and that there's also other elections. So even if you think Andrew dropping out means, oh, I'm gonna go be politically disengaged, please just practice humanity first if you're frustrated with how the system has been, and just look forward.
Awesome. Yes, I agree. It's not just a mentality to use in the political game. It is actually something that applies to everything. So that's awesome. Well, Jordan, thank you for coming on the show. I enjoyed speaking with you. Again, this is Jordan Reyes. She's from Michigan. She's working on a lot of projects, and keep an eye on her because she's going to be doing some big things. So thank you again for coming on the show, Jordan.
Thank you.
No problem. We will talk to you, and we will talk to everybody else later. Bye.
Bye-bye.